What's going on, everyone? In today's video, we're gonna talk about books that you can buy on Amazon right now for under 10 bucks that you can flip for 30, 40, or even 50 bucks and make some great ROI on. And by the way, all the books you're about to see were found using a sourcing method that I actually haven't ever published on YouTube. So if you're interested in how I found these books, then make sure you sign up for my newsletter below. I'll give you a link in the description that you can actually see a personalized video showing you how to find these books. But yeah, let's get right into the video. All right, so the first book is actually pretty insane. It comes from Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld's a great show, by the way. If anyone's watched it, let me know down in the comments below. I love that show. But you can actually see that this is a signed copy. It came out in 2020. Right now, you can buy it for $4.50 plus $4 shipping. And most people, when they come across a book like this, would be like, this book's worthless. It's not worth anything. But when you go down to Keepa, actually something very fascinating about this book is that for pretty much the entire year, you see that used offer count is not even present, which means that this hasn't even been available on Amazon for most of the year. But when it is available, notice when the sales rank drops and what that used price is. So you can see like this sales rank drop here. You can see someone came in on the listing on March 20th, and that went out of stock basically within 10 days at $49.95. So someone bought this book for 50 bucks. You can see a little more recently, you can see that someone had it listed for a long time around 116. No one bought it, no sales rank drop, but then you see the price drop down to 45, and then pretty much immediately the sales rank drop again. So that tells me that, if this book is in stock for about 10 days and someone's willing to pay about about 50 bucks for it, pretty much almost immediately, that's a great sign. Now, if we go back to when it was in stock, you can see the lowest used price is right around 50, and we see multiple sales rank drops. We actually even see the last sales rank drop showed that this $84 copy went away when the sales rank dropped, meaning that sale probably was 84 bucks. Now, for a book like this, always look at the grand picture, the grand scheme of this thing. And what you'll notice is that when this book came out, it was being sold new for about $200, which is actually kind of crazy. But the lowest used price here, this black line again, is right around that $40 mark. So that's a book that holds some pretty good value. Now you can see that as time went on a little bit, you can see that the new price kind of came down to right around 100 bucks. So the new price is going to be denoted by that blue line, but we see that the used price is right around 100 as well. So this is a book that I think could pretty easily sell for 50 bucks pretty much immediately, honestly, like within a week or 2 weeks, in my opinion, and potentially could sell upwards of $100 if you're willing to wait. We look at this person over here, they didn't really wait that long. They waited like about a month. It's potential that you could get up to 100, but this is a book that I'm definitely gonna buy. So $4.50 plus $4 shipping. This is basically gonna be $8.49, and I think conservatively over here we can say that we're gonna flip this for about $49.99. That's gonna leave us with a $23 profit, 270% ROI if we sell it at that. And by the way, I'm just gonna put my min price at that. I'm actually probably putting max price a little bit higher and be cool, probably somewhere around like $79.99, because I think that this book could potentially sell for that high and do so pretty quickly. So that would be a $50 profit. I'm not sure if it'll actually manifest in that, but one thing I do know is that the offer count of this book is actually very low, and probably this book is not going to really be coming back in stock anytime soon, because this was an autographed, signed first edition copy. So this is definitely a book that's definitely sought after. So I'm gonna go and check out with that book, and yeah, let's go on to the next one. All right, the second book we're gonna look at is called Tansu Traditional Japanese Cabinetry. I went ahead and looked at what Tansu is, and it looks like it's a traditional Japanese mobile storage cabinet. So definitely this book is probably very niche. You can actually see this came out in 1981. So this book's over 40 years old. So notice that the buy box price of this is about 68 bucks, and the lowest price on this is $4.45. Now, a lot of people, definitely not newer booksellers, are going to see that big difference in price and understand that that's probably unrealistic, right? If the price of this book from a merchant offer is right around like $5 and the buy box is 70, there's probably no chance, right, that you can sell for that. But always gotta look at Keepa, right? Because books are fluid on Amazon. Prices change all the time. It's almost impossible for a book that's been out for 40 years to have a consistent price and always be 25 bucks or always be 35 bucks. There's always going to be a range with where the price of a book jumps up and down, and there are some points in time where it's probably very inflated and also very deflated. So let's scroll down here to the Keepa chart, and what you'll actually notice is that very recently, starting in mid-July, this book went from right around $34 and is undergoing repricing where it got all the way down to about $4.91. But I want to bring your attention to the most recent sales rank drops of this book. You can see that the last three sales rank drops were at 62, 47, and also 47 there. And again, that's the lowest used price. So that's probably from a merchant offer. If any of those were prime sellers who sold a copy, it's likely that there's a little bit of a prime bump. But looking a little bit further back in time, notice that this book pretty solidly sells for right around 30 bucks at the lowest used price. So in my eyes, this is a book that's wildly undervalued, right? Now, again, let's look at the last 4,000 days. what you'll notice about this book is that it consistently holds value, right? Its lowest use price is pretty much almost always above $20 and often is much higher than that. It gets up to $45. You can see there's a few sales rank drops there. You can see even potentially can get as high as, let's see, here's a sales rank drop at $75. So this is a book that probably inherently is worth right around like $30, 30 to 40, but at times can sell for more. And apparently at times can be a lot cheaper, right? And think about this logically, like this is a book that came out 4 decades ago. Is there really any difference between 2020, 2021, 2022? I mean, not really, right? It's not like this is a textbook that has multiple editions. This is made, just one copy of this was made, one edition of this was made, and this is definitely a solid pickup, something that I'm going to buy for sure. And one other really important thing to keep track of is also this thing called used offer count. Used offer counts can tell you how many offers are on the listing. Right now you can see there's 12 used offers here for $445. So what's really fascinating about this book is if you look at this book over the grand scheme of its history, its offer count is actually pretty low. And if we look at a time when its offer count was 29, about double what it is now, you can see that it's still holding a strong price between $20 and $30. So that's a really good sign. This is a product that's gonna retain value and is really undervalued. It's at a low offer count. There's multiple copies available. So let's go ahead and check out those and figure out how many of these I'd actually buy. So you see that we can basically buy this for $8.44. So I'm gonna come over here to sell it and put $8.44. That's gonna be their buy cost. Now we have to figure out what do we think we can sell this at. I would say pretty reasonably, you could probably say you could sell this for about $29.99, in which case you'd be making a $6 profit per book, 72% ROI. Keep in mind, you would never have to leave your house. You can send this straight to a prep center, never touch the book, and you'd make $6 profit, 72% ROI, and there's multiple copies available. But again, I actually think $29.99 is actually being pretty conservative. I think this can go even higher than that. I think as a prime seller, easily $35 is what I would be shooting for. But again, the most recent sales rank drops we see, 62, 47, 47. So if you're that lucky son of a gun that got it for 62, sold for 62, you made a $33 profit. If you sold for 47, then you made a $20 profit. And that ROI on the purchase price is pretty insane. And one thing, by the way, that I love about books like this that are under $10 is that the risk is so low, right? The inherent risk of buying a book for under $10 is so much lower than buying a book for $25 or $35, right? So let's go and look at how many copies are actually available. And again, I'm going to be conservative and I'm going to try to sell my copies for right around $35, make 100% ROI, $10 per book. You can see we have 2 copies there, 3 copies. Basically, we have 3 copies under $10 and then the 4th copy a little bit over $10. And by the way, I would probably even buy this copy here. I think it's undervalued enough. So basically we're looking at 4 copies. I think we're looking at least, $10 profit per book. So I'm thinking this book you're gonna make at least $40 profit on. Now, a really good question is, well, how many do you send to Amazon? And that's gonna be really determined on the sales rank, how often it's dropping, how likely you perceive this book to be selling. So in my opinion, I'd probably just send all 3 or 4 copies to my prep center and go to Amazon directly, because I think $35 is a very, very competitive price from a prime seller. I would bet that I would get the offers, right? If we actually look here at all of the offers available and we look at prime specifically, there's only one prime offer. It's $68. I'm basically to come in and undercut this guy by 50% and have multiple copies. I think absolutely going to get sales at that price. And by the way, one other great indicator that this is a great book is that there's also a paperback version of this book. And you can see that the lowest use price of the paperback is actually significantly higher than that of the hardcover. So let's go over here and look at the Tansu book. This came out in 2004. This is the paperback version. This is a newer edition of this book. I actually don't know if it's a newer edition. It might just be a reprint of this book. It came out in 2004. Notice that it's actually being sold new for $50, but we actually do see multiple sales rank drops of this book, even above 20. 2 most recent sales, right around 37 or right around 50 in used condition. You go back into time, again, this is a book that came out over a decade ago. Is there any difference between 2019, 2020, 2020? Like, not really, right? And multiple sales rank drops above 25, above 30, even up to 40. So this is a great indicator of an awesome book. This is a book that I pick up all the time, under $10, flip for 30 to 40 to $50. Really low risk, not a textbook, very unlikely that you would get an IP complaint or anything like this. So yeah, I'm gonna check out this book and then let's head on to the next one. All right, the third book we're gonna look at is called Handbook of Riggers here. This came out in 1977. Obviously a very niche book, just looking at the picture of this book. Came out a long time ago. It's probably not another new edition, but again, one thing that you'll notice is that you can pick this book up for about $4. And most people, if they were to scan a book or even look at this book, they would say, I highly doubt it's worth anything, right? Came out way long time ago, very small or very low use price. You're probably thinking this book is worthless, right? But again, when you go down and keep it, one thing that you notice is that starting back in July, you see a repricing war. This book started around $62, got all the way down to about $4.38, and it's been sitting there for a couple days. There's nobody tracking this book under statistics. So, we got this basically all to ourselves. Granted, the sales rank of this book, is quite high right now, but what we do see is multiple sales rank drops throughout the year, which means people are actually buying this. So look at this. The most recent sales rank drop was probably right here at $59.93. You can see that's when the offer count here. Let me get rid of this review count. You can see that's when the offer count went from 6 to 5. So that sold for $59.93. You can see there's another sales rank drop when the book dropped down to $34.94. So both of those sales are significantly more than what we could potentially buy it for right now. Also look at the sales rank drops before that. You can see this book was listed for right around $35 for a little bit. Then you see 2 sales rank drops. We go from an offer count of basically, let me get rid of rating, go from 3 to 2 down to 0. So those 3 copies were bought right around 35. Then you can see somebody else came back in stock. You can see the offer counts 1. They went out of stock at $40. So if we look at the last 3,700 days of this book, notice that this book can very easily sell for $30, right? At the lowest juice price. And there's plenty of people willing to do that. And again, think about this book. It came out in 1977. Is there a difference between 2020, 21, 2022, 20? Probably not. If someone in 2019 is willing to buy a book from 1977 about a very niche topic, they're probably going to buy it in 2023. They're probably going to buy it in 2025. They're probably going to buy it in 2029, to be honest. So what's fascinating though is that at times this book has potentially sold for even more. Like look at this sales rank drop. Potentially as high as $200. I don't know. That might be a little bit off. But if we look at some other sales rank drops, there's one at 60. Here's one at $29.99. This is a book that clearly has shown, here's one at 90 right here. This is a book that clearly shows that, people are willing to spend up right around $30 for this book. It actually was kind of interesting when the offer count was lower. Notice that as soon as people come in stock, they go out of stock. So this person came out of stock at 20. They're in stock for a couple days, boom, out of stock. So there's probably not that many people looking for this book, but clearly there is a niche community that needs it. And let's go and look at the different offer counts here to see what we could potentially pick up. So looks like we have an acceptable copy, and then we have 2 very good conditions. Again, under $10, $9.36. I would buy those copies. I would shy away from the acceptable copy. And this is a book from 1977. Who knows what's on the acceptable condition copy? There could be cat pee on it. It could be, ripped. It could be mold. But a very good condition copy for a book that old, that's actually pretty cool. So again, what do I think we can sell this for? I think pretty conservatively, I think we could sell this book for $35. And if we can sell it for $35, that's a $13 profit, 139% ROI per book. And again, the point is not that we're going to get rich off this individual book. The point is if you put in the hard work consistently and you buy 10, 15, 20 of these books per day, super old niche books that people want, that you're going to profit, $10, $15 on per book, that's a business model that actually is going to work for you. So $13.07 profit for each of these 2 books. And this is a book that I'm gonna go and check out with, and let's go to the next one. All right, so the last book of the day, we're gonna wrap up with Wolverine Classic Volume 1. This came out in 2005. So again, another very old book. Looks like it's a common book. We can look on the Amazon page in the buy box. You can basically buy this for right around like $7.08. Again, you might not think that this has any value. Like if you were to scan it, considering that if you come down here and look at its sales rank, 2.6 million, and you're like the lowest use price on Amazon, if you're looking at Scally or ScatIQ and it's only like $8 or $7, you're like, this book's worthless. But again, looking at Keepa and being a cherry picker, like I am an online book arbitrage seller. I don't go out and source books. I sit on my computer late at night, or you can see it's 11:26 p.m. right now, and I just cherry pick books that are undervalued, flip them back on Amazon. So let's look at this book. The most recent 4 sales rank drops of this book occurred when the lowest use price was about $35. So what that tells me is that there's at least 4 individuals out there over the last 5 or 6 months that were willing to pay about $35 for this book. Again, this book came out so long ago. I want to look and expand data. 2019, 2020, 2021, you see that this is a book that, even though it wasn't quite as high as the most recent sales rank drops, you see more frequencies of sales rank drops right around like 15. You see some sales rank drops as high as 28. So again, this is maybe a book that isn't quite as good as the other copies, but I still do see multiple sales rank drops around $25. And the cool thing about this is that, there's definitely a community out there that wants this book. There's 2 copies available in very good in good condition for right around $7.08. I think pretty conservatively, this is a book you could probably flip for like $27.99. And doing so, you'd make an $8 profit book, 125% ROI. Again, you're not going to get rich off this book, but you're going to get rich off of having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books just like this that are undervalued that you can buy and flip on Amazon. So again, I really hope you guys enjoyed that session. Again, if you want the sourcing strategy for how I found those books, make sure you sign up for the newsletter below. I'll send you a personalized video exactly how I found those books and how you can buy more books like that in the future. Great books that I buy all the time, bread and butter books that make some great money, really low risk, especially if you're somebody who's new in the game with online book arbitrage, a really crazy concept. Buy a book on Amazon and flip it on Amazon. You don't want to be spending so much per book because you might not have a ton of capital, but these books under $10 per book, you can basically pick up 10 different books for under $100, and you can get started with online book arbitrage. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you really enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.